Hi, and I am the Beefsquatch. So today, this is going to be my walkthrough guide to Sidewinder, the new vehicle on the roster of Switchblade. So, before we start, we'll get into the lobby. So yes, Sidewinder is the newest vehicle to the roster in Switchblade, and let's just say it's going to have probably one of the biggest effects that we've seen to date out of any of the changes to the vehicles. Obviously a new vehicle will always create a new system to use in any game, especially MOBAs. So as there isn't really a meta per se at the moment, then you tend to find it's generally singular vehicles that will have a big effect, or singular abilities that will have a big effect on the game. So at the moment we're going to go here, select Sidewinder, and just because I want the extra XP, go for my personal favourite, Tiny Giant. So as you can see here, the Sidewinder's abilities, you got 4 pips on the damage. Obviously that's a good thing. Damage is never a bad thing. Speed is average for a fighter on the 3. Health 2, it's a little on the low side, I won't lie. And then the difficulty is definitely a 1. It is one of the easiest vehicles to use on Switchblade, which you know, it is brilliant for newcomers, especially given that the game is just coming into early access now. So new people to the game will probably find Sidewinder as one of their go-to vehicles. I've seen a lot of people already kind of start flocking to use it, not just because it's new, but because it has a lot of high damage, but at the same time it's quite easy to use. And I think a lot of that reason is due to the fact that its abilities rely on lock-ons. Literally all of its kit is based around locking on and the soft lock ability that is in the game. However, that is somewhat of a disadvantage as well. That is something that I have found personally. Things like taking out dropships, for example, is very difficult with Sidewinder, because you just don't have that ability to kind of shoot in a general area. The basic attack speed is not great enough for you to be able to kind of, oh quick, there it is, and take the dropship out. So you can, it's not to say you can't take them out, it is just somewhat more difficult because it does rely heavily on the auto lock function. So on that assumption, with this going into the game now, we'll show you a few of the abilities in action, and then we can obviously show you some pros and cons at the same time. So what I would suggest is making sure that you have a team around you that can work with Sidewinder, because Sidewinder is great in 1v1 situations, but not brilliant in team fight situations. Has a very singular objective kind of role. So I always go for the health first, because Sidewinder is a little weak on the health side of things. So obviously I want to make sure that I can survive the first few waves with the aggressive pushes that you get at the start of the game. So my first ability I'm going to unlock is going to be a rocket salvo. Now the whole reason I unlock the rocket salvo is because the shield is great. It has its own ability, you know, it has its own purpose and whatnot. However, it doesn't really serve a huge purpose in the first couple of minutes of the game, because you do need that damage to be able to kind of push the enemy back at the level 1 stage, because as you can see, everyone kind of piles into the lane. So obviously having the rocket salvo ability is a great kind of deterrent to kind of not only push them back, but also to be able to take out the minions, because without minions they can't do anything. So now that I'm level 2, I'm going to unlock the shield so that now I can defend myself. And the good thing with the shield is that it absorbs attacks. So not only will you be able to defend yourself, but you will also, what it will do is it will absorb the attack, and it will then fire the shield back out at the enemy. Oh wow, I've got 4 people in this lane. Oof. Oh, I can't. Oh wow. Yeah. So as you can see, like I say, in teamfight situations, when there's more than one person, especially when there's a healer there, you can't really do too much with Sidewinder. That is one of its weaknesses. It doesn't have that AoE kind of damage to deal more damage than one person. The only ability that does have that is its ultimate, which I will show you in a second, just now, and it basically auto locks onto anything that is in range and fires a buttload of rockets at it, just like that. And then I added a rocket salvo at the end just for good measure. So as you can see, the ultimate, stupidly strong, very, very strong. So that is one of the reasons why I think it's a very easy vehicle to use, because you can deal a serious amount of damage while at the same time not really having to worry too much about them surviving it, because it's going to take something special for them to survive if you catch them in an open space, for example. Now the shield does also block the attacks from the enemy towers, which means you can go on the aggressive and really herd minions into the towers so that you don't have to take a huge amount of damage that you would normally if you were another fighter like Flaming Blade or Kamikaze. And I am getting chased. Go away. So yeah, the good thing is that, how do I put it? In terms of DPS, it is slower than Flaming Blade or Kamikaze. However, you do tend to find that through its burst abilities, like the Rocket Salvo and its ultimate, you don't really suffer too much. I would liken Sidewinder more to a burst caster than anything else, just on the simple basis that it can deal a lot of damage in short bursts. So for me, it would kind of classify it more as a mid laner. Ooh, we have someone who's joined. A mid laner, or someone, a burst caster, depending on what kind of game you're playing. My most, I would definitely say it's a burst caster personally. That's my personal opinion. Everybody's obviously different and they have their own opinions. And the healers are healing each other. Brilliant. I need to kill one of the healers. My poor little... So yes, as you can see, that even though that balloon was there, I couldn't target it until anything else was out of the way, and that's because of the auto lock function. And that's what I mean about the weakness for Sidewinder, is that you really do kind of, the auto lock function is great, but at the same time on Sidewinder it relies on it so heavily that if you're not careful, you can really get caught out with it. So I'm going to put the shield up, take the flak from that tower. Oscar's going to die for it, which is his decision. Silly Oscar. Got 8 seconds till my ultimate, and then we should, in theory, be able to take out the core of this tower. Here we go. Oh! Oh dear. So the shield, which has a bug on Sniper Prince at the moment. How did I live through that? Oh my god. So yes, the shield from Sniper Prince blocked pretty much all of the ultimate from me, which was unfortunate. But we still get the tower, and that is that. So as you can see, the Sidewinder has a serious amount of burst damage in its kit. Now, that means that you have the ability to go aggressive. However, you don't want to go aggressive with it. It plays better being more of a laner / defensive vehicle, because you have that time and that space to be able to kind of say, hey, you're not going to get past here, you're not going to cause any problems here, because if they come anywhere near you, you've got that much burst damage available to you that they have to think twice. It makes you a really good defender of towers, really good at being able to get rid of minions as well, and those are some of its strengths. Its weaknesses, it's vulnerable to AoE attacks, so attacks like Flaming Blade's ultimate, Kamikaze's ultimate, Vampire's ultimate. Anything that is an AoE attack isn't blocked by that shield. So that is a big downside to Sidewinder. Another vehicle that it has a major disadvantage to is Goofer the Scout. Just on the basis that Goofer's kit is so disruptive to Sidewinder. It has the block attack ability, the stun almost, if you want to call it that, that stops the entire vehicle from working for a short period of time, and that is, with the low health pool that Sidewinder has, that is a major issue, because if that's in a coordinated attack, you're not going to survive. Not only that, but with Goofer's invisibility, the fact that you can still attack for a short period while being invisible is a major issue to Sidewinder, because Sidewinder can't lock on to you, so it can't deal that burst damage it needs to survive and to kind of warn you off. So Goofer is a real counter to Sidewinder, from my experience. It really does have the kit that kind of messes with Sidewinder the most. So yes, that's kind of it, and the only other thing worth adding with Sidewinder is its mobility. It doesn't have a huge amount of mobility compared to Flaming Blade or Kamikaze. However, you can get around that with things like the speed boosts from the store in-game. So it depends on your own tactics when it comes to the mobility. It has the ability there, but it's not inbuilt in its kit. So I would say it's definitely a strong one for newcomers. Will it be a stronger one in more competitive scenes? It will be best to wait and see until the competitive scene builds up a bit. Okay, so thank you for watching, and keep your eye out for the next video, which will be featuring Fortress. Sayonara!